The Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast, and here is your host, Elliot J. O'Neill. Good point. And we are live, and this is a special mini episode of the Simpsons Index where today we are just doing one episode from the second decade because the second decade has more episodes than the first or the third decade, so at some point I'm going to need to catch up on these in some way or another, so why not one episode at a time. Today I am joined by
Joey Joe Shabadoo.
We just watched Season 10, Episode 2, The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, better known as the Thomas Edison episode. BT, what'd you think?
I've been drinking.
He's been drinking, I've been drinking. Look, just a quick synopsis. This is another great episode which I can summarize in just a simple sentence. Homer, upon hearing a report on the radio that the average human lifespan is about 75-something years, realizing he's in his late 30s, has an existential crisis, and then throughout the proceedings of the story manages to find out a little bit about Thomas Edison and starts following in his footsteps and decides he wants to be an inventor.
Yeah, it's one of those great Homer new job episodes where you just root for him so much. You want him to succeed, and it's just you won't, friend. I'm sorry.
No. What I liked about this episode, just in the general chat, is what I liked is the callback moments in that when Homer decides he wants to start following Edison, he puts up his little timeline, and then that comes back to it at the end where he discovers Thomas Edison's timeline in comparison to Da Vinci, and that's a
nice little humanizing moment. The Homer realizing he's chasing a goal of someone who is chasing another goal.
Absolutely.
Edison having recently, within the last, let's say 5 years, become the demon of the internet to Tesla's messiah.
Yes.
But...
and that's where this episode does fall short, isn't it? And in that it doesn't age well because, it has been revealed that Edison was a fucking thief and probably a great man by all accounts.
Well, it's one of those moments where you measure greatness by their achievements, even if they were fueled by other people, but they had the ability and cognizance. God, that's not a word, is it? No, it's not. Fuck it. They had the ability and the intelligence to turn something from a layman's product to a multinational $1 million deal. Still, fuck Edison.
But love this episode.
This episode is it's everything. It's fun. It's Homer dealing with something I think we've all had at the moment of, oh shit, I'm this age and I was supposed to do this by this point. Oh, fuck.
Absolutely. And that's something I've realised in my 30 years in that, wow, when people were 30, they did a lot more by my age than people my age are doing now.
If you've never had this moment, you're 22. It's that simple.
Because I didn't have that moment when I was 22.
No. It's... and for everyone above 22, remember that Alan Rickman started his career at 42.
No shit.
I mean, I might be wrong on the exact number, but he's 40-something when he was in Die Hard, and they weren't even speaking German. That was fake German.
He was 42 when he was in Die Hard.
I mean, something like that. Don't quote me, but it's...
Something like that, though. That is straws to grasp onto, people.
People listening, it is never too late to grasp to your art. Like a dying hand from a withering grave.
Please listen to the Simpsons Index, share the Simpsons Index, like the Simpsons Index, and follow us on Twitter.
Download, make up a Patreon, and then we'll take money.
Make up a Patreon.
We have been drinking.
So let's just go through some of the quotable moments. You were saying the thing about Kemp Brockman's thing with the Pope at the end. What was that? The fraudulent Pope.
Fraudulent Pope can be witnessed by his... I can't remember.
His foul mouth and his...
No, there's something else, and it's like... By his foul smell and incredibly foul mouth, I think it is.
Yep.
It's such a great segue.
Yeah. Great news story bit. And just on, like, the story itself, like, yeah, this was an A story throughout, no B plot.
No B
Homer
plot.
just trying to come up and be an inventor.
Well, that's what, it developed its own B plot. Of, Homer realizing he has an invention that he accidentally stole from Edison the hack. Fuck you. And going to try and claim that invention before his hero. And I like that kind of humanizing moment of him realizing that he is a man lost to his own ideals as his hero was. And I like that. It's a good moment. It's a very quiet, casual, impressive moment. If we're talking quotable moments, you're talking more, Homer, you've got it set to whore.
Yup.
For the makeup gun. And, I mean, ladies out there, just don't. I mean, if you have a choice between a makeup gun that'll just whore you.
No beauty can be achieved in
Let's
4/5 of a second.
Yeah, if your option is shotgun makeup to the face or just not makeup. Let's build a world where people understand you don't look like that all the time.
But yeah, let's talk about the inventions. Like, I remember when I first watched this episode that, like, I thought the electric hammer's not such a bad idea, but yeah, the other three are like ideas that you think
this sound will mention every 3 seconds if everything is fine.
The everything's okay alarm. But those are the sort of things you'd come up to if you were if you were trying to think of inventions.
And I like that. It's Homer being what we all kind of want to be. He's like, this is what you, as a dipshit watching Fox, will come up with if you thought you could be an inventor.
Yep.
But in the most warming and hospitable way possible.
Absolutely. But even, like, all of his inventions, they get their part in the story where the electric hammer comes back to be part of the Thomas Edison still inventing after 100 years sort of thing, and the toilet recliner, you know, at the end when Homer sees that Thomas Edison's getting credit for his inventions, he's just like, let's just say I'm sitting in the right chair. Like, these things all get their callbacks, and it's really cool. But yeah, what I was going to say is, like, it's really cool seeing, like, those inventions, and those are the kind of inventions that the layman would think of when they were trying to make an invention, but the whole the practicality of his actual invention of the extra legs on hinges on a chair, fucking blown away in that moment.
Yeah, as someone who also enjoyed reclining on a chair in high school, I would have enjoyed an extra pair of legs. That's the good thing. It's not that his inventions are bad, it's just they don't quite work. Like, he has a gun that will apply makeup.
Yeah.
It will make you look like a whore, but
you get
works.
to get shot in the face.
You know what? This is the number one thing I say to anyone trying to write, and this goes to anyone trying to invent. You know what? You either, wherever it is applicable, first draft, that's what you say to yourself, or, hey, prototype, that's fine. Prototype.
Just on the writing anyway, the story unfolded very naturally. This is a season 10 episode, and this is where the cracks of the show start appearing. And I don't know, I thought this was pretty classic Simpsons storytelling in this episode.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that is hard to draw fault to, as in you should have done something else with this, because it all works perfectly fine. I mean, that said, I don't have a gold medal in my heart when we go to ratings.
Ooh.
But it's one of the... I mean, maybe I do. I mean, saying that, it's...
Well, look, we're at the 10-minute mark. Why not get on the road to the ranking, which is via the path of the questionnaire?
Wow, wait a...
Was that smooth? I don't know. I'm very drunk.
That was like 8 degrees away from smooth. You were like Satana's second cousin twice removed, recording with Rob Thomas's fourth cousin, who kind of knows who Rob Thomas is, but also doesn't give a fuck. Recording a song together to make Kind of Smooth. That's their song.
Well.
Congratulations.
Well, it's just like the ocean under the moon. And tell me, buddy, do you remember watching this back in the day? Do you have memories of early viewings?
I have forgotten what episode we just watched.
The Thomas Edison one.
No, I vaguely remember. I also remember having no feeling on it whatsoever. I'm terribly sorry. This is not one that is embedded itself upon my psyche like most Simpsons episodes.
Yeah, for me, back in the day, I don't actually remember thinking much of this episode back in the day. I think watching it now then, it actually was like thinking, wow, this is actually a surprisingly good episode. Like, when you picked it, I was like, oh, this is...
You have to face it, this was 10. Season 10, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, most Simpsons aficionados will say it died in Season 9 with Principal and the Pauper.
Yeah.
So this was the kind of, prove you haven't killed yourself season. And from that, it's fun, it's funny. I mean, I would not say I think The Simpsons is over from this point.
No, and I really think of the whore makeup gun really sticking around in like
It's
a quotable
really
moment.
Yeah,
So this is season 10, aired in 99
women
in the
listening
States.
to the podcast, what do you think of the whore makeup gun? Could you use it? Do you feel it's forcing you to require makeup for your everyday performance at work? How do you feel? Leave a comment.
On our Twitter.
You
at
don't-
Simpsons Index.
To be perfectly honest, every single one is good. That BT Calloway, God, he's sexy and gets me off.
And that Danny Rosewell, fuck that dude and his
Yeah.
stupid opinions.
No, it will be, I will make out with that Daddy Rosewell.
You can look forward to Danny Rosewell on maybe episode 12
Yeah.
or 13. I'm not sure at this
You
stage.
can look forward to Danny Rosewell just, like, reading the time. And they'll be sexy as fuck.
Oh my god, let's make him read the time on the next episode and not tell him why.
Have you heard the man's voice? God damn.
Have you heard him read the time?
I've heard my voice. It's like shrill and bullshit. In my skull, it is like amazing. But like only 2 of you are allowed in my skull.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my god, we're not even up to question 2. Question 2. How many times do you think you've watched it over the years? Is this one you've revisited?
Every time it's on, I think I've watched it. I mean, I enjoy Homer's just jovial fun at him being an inventor. It's a lot of fun to watch him, and lots of fun to say, well, you got to you're sitting in your favorite chair, but you got to go to the bathroom. What do you do? I don't know. You just shit in that goddamn chair.
That's the implication of this, isn't it?
I'm drinking your tequila.
Hook in. And yeah, pour us up while you're at it. Yeah, I think my play count would probably be around 20, I guess. Yourself?
I mean, like 2 maybe.
2?
Okay, for those of you out there in podcast land, Elliot J. O'Neill may be the only professional Simpsons watcher having eclipsed 10,000 hours of watching The Simpsons. Now, we come here on the assumption we are adding ourselves to those 10,000 hours. He's probably done it. All 10,000 by himself.
I am an expert at it, and even in the new bullshit. But
Especially in the new bullshit.
actually, Shayna last night brought up a good way to sort of think about the play count, is that how many times per year since seeing this episode do you think you've watched it?
Wow, way to get mathematical. 0.3.
That's good enough for question 2. Question 3. Were there any jokes that you only just noticed on this viewing, maybe went over your head back in the day sort of thing, or...
No, I think I caught all the jokes on the first time. Because there's not really any advanced real mentions in terms of history or Edison's douchebaggery.
You know what? There's one line that you pointed out, which I don't think I like super cared about back in the day, but you were like, "Oh my god, I love this line," and I was like, "Okay, what's this line?" And then it was Homer saying about how he quit the nuclear power plant to pursue his dream of being Edison, and she goes, and Marge goes, "Oh, maybe you can still get your job," and Homer goes, "Not in the way I quit." That was a joke I don't think I noticed on the first viewing.
Really? The idea that he quit so grotesquely?
Well, that was just such a great example of like a subtle Simpsons joke in that, like, maybe in newer episodes they would have had him like fucking
Absolutely.
exit.
So you mean in newer episodes they would have had the cutaway to him walking up to Burns and rubbing his butt cheeks between his long vulture-like nose.
Wearing a gorilla suit, but with his cock out.
Yeah, but I don't know. I appreciate that. The current episodes are like they imply it solely. Like, whoa, not the way I quit, and that's actually, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, where it lets your imagination play with. The situation, knowing Homer, what he might have done, and it's like, oh my god, I bet he had his cock out while wearing a gorilla suit.
I mean, I would have.
All right. Do you see yourself watching this episode again?
Yeah.
Good one. It's a good one. I see myself watching this episode again. All right, getting into the home stretch. The wackiness. Not super wacky in the context.
Yeah, in the point of feeling like you've hit the halfway point of your life and not achieved anything and going after someone who has. Anyone listening who has hit that point, you know.
And like that's why this episode isn't super wacky in that.
I mean, you got the great road trip with Bart and Homer going down to the Edison Museum. You've got Homer sleep deprived, imagining Edison's ghost, but it's not. It's still very human in the way it's presented. It's like you almost want to step over your idols to achieve what they did, just to say, fuck you, idols, I'm just as important.
Yep, and especially when your idols turn out to be Edison, who tend to be Tesla stealing dicks. What'd you say, dick what?
I probably said dick and then some other word.
Dick adjectives. Let's talk about the heart. Was there heart?
I mean, not in your traditional sense.
No.
But it's got heart in the sense of what I was just saying is, and we're all people trying to feel like we matter in this universe, and there's Homer having a midlife crisis of, you know, even though he's had kids, he has a wonderful wife, he has a stable job, fucking whatever, but he's not made an impact, and he's like, he's there at the beginning eating his bag of flour. Marge is like, oh, but you've made me happy. And he's like, yeah, well, I've got 3 memories. And oh my God, I'm not going to remember what they are. But one of them is talking to you right now. It doesn't mean anything. And they have a Homer Simpson, this is your life moment. And nothing matters except the present. And that's a very human feeling. I guarantee you every astronaut that has come back from space has said, the fuck have I done recently? Yeah. They were like, yeah, sure, I drank beer based in unless you're gravity. Michael Collins, look him up, he is amazing. Oh, that was such an awesome post that you had about him. Like, that was filled with so much heartfelt words, but ultimately at the end of the post, I didn't remember his name because I spent too much time. Michael Collins. The world's greatest designated driver. Yeah, better than Edison. Fuck Edison. Way more heart than Edison. So, alright, we're getting into the closing of it now. Did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons to you? Yeah. I mean, Homer, new job, it's always fun. Yeah. So, in this category, I'd like to talk about the integrity. I guess all the characters were on point. No one was off point. No, I mean, it was Bart being a rapscallion, but in the rapscallion in the sense of helping this deluded, ridiculous dream of becoming an inventor. It is completely on point for Bart, and he got out of school, I'm sure. He would have taken any opportunity to do that. And Marge making Homer the tuna sandwich and then saying, oh, there's lots of dolphin in it, and you know dolphins, they're smart.
And then Homer leaves, and then, my God, my sandwich. And you wrote down,
Oh, did I? Oh, shit.
always marry a woman who will guard your sandwich.
Yes. I actually literally didn't write that down. But I stand by it forever.
Absolutely.
If she says, it's cool, honey, I will guard this sandwich. You put a fucking ring on that when you get back from wherever you were going.
It doesn't matter by the time. If the lettuce is wilted, the bread is stale.
No. How long were you gone?
I might have been gone more than the 6 hours I thought I'd be.
Well, that's not even 6 hours, so I don't know how you're gauging sandwich.
Oh, lettuce gets wilted in 6 hours.
It's true.
And I guess integrity-wise, yeah, there wasn't a lot of focus on anyone else besides Homer. Like, and I did love the bit where Bart and Lisa come down to try and help, in quotation marks, Homer, and he goes, just each of you say a word, and Lisa was like thoughtful and considered, and Bart was just anarchic, and just like Lisa was like automatic, and then Bart was like booger.
But
automatic Bart.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, fluorescent booger.
Yeah.
So all the characters were on point.
Yeah, help me out here.
Point.
Homer the artist, where he makes the birdhouse, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Is that before or after this?
Same season. So this
same
was.
Season?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's after. Yeah, Mom and Pop Art. Yeah.
Just because we have the same kind of hit where Homer is like, okay, motivate me, and Bart's like, well, the other day I was a little attracted to Milhouse.
Yep, that was Mom and Pop Art, which is season 10, episode 19. So yeah, after this.
Can we watch that now?
Not according to my rules. If we're doing the mini-sodes, we can only pick a season 1 or a season 20 plus.
What if I kick you in the face? I mean, I wouldn't.
Well, I do back down easily to violent intimidation.
Yeah,
so
but I'm also very lazy.
Lazy, violent intimidation?
I might possibly one day hire someone to maybe think about kicking you in the face.
Fuck, I think I'd call you bluff in that instance.
Yeah, no, that'd be fine.
Alright, are there any other quotable moments of this episode before we wrap this thing up and rank it?
Other than you've got it set to whore.
Yeah.
The electric hammer.
Let's just say I'm sitting in the right chair.
Yeah.
Oh, they won't let me in the Big People Library downtown.
I've actually used that, so yes.
There was some
unpleasantness. I could never go back.
Yeah, authorities say the phony Pope can be recognised by his high-top sneakers and
incredibly foul mouth. I have incredibly foul mouth saved my phone for this episode. I couldn't remember what it was for, but yes.
Oh, you said your spirit animal is Marge when she says whatever, when Homer's like, Marge, that's it. That's why I haven't done anything with my life. I need to be more like Thomas Edison.
Whatever.
That is totally your spirit animal.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other good quotable moment. Oh, you started smoking, Dad? Yeah, Thomas Edison smoked several cigars a day. And Bart's like, yeah, he invented stuff too.
Boo.
Shut up. Alright, let's rank this thing. Beej, you sort of half picked this episode. Why don't you kick it off? Where are you ranking it?
I mean, the parts of my brain that work without alcohol say silver. So I'm going to go with silver. It's tough. It's really tough. Actually, now the more I think about it, it is potentially gold, and sober me may regret this.
Hold on. Let me put my case for gold.
Okay, go
because
right ahead.
That's where I'm sitting. Because, okay, look, this episode back in the day actually wasn't one that I particularly wanted to revisit. But having looked at it now and just from a theoretical standpoint, the story unfolds perfectly without any sort of shitty logical leaps, where sort of in newer episodes there's like they're expecting the audience to make illogical leaps to accept story
they're
premises.
Expecting the jumps for them, yeah.
Yeah, there's none of that, and the jokes surrounding it are all good. It's just it doesn't have that perfect feel to it, and it's not one of those timeless Simpsons episodes feel to it. So for those reasons, it gets knocked down from cubic zirconia to gold for me. And I'm really actually having a hard time faulting this episode because of how well it unfolds on itself. What do you reckon?
You know what? I think you've convinced me.
Yeah?
This has never happened in the history of the Simpsons Index. But you're right. There is nothing about this episode I want to fault. And for that, and the fact that it's funny and it's fun and it moves so fluently, I'm going to bump this up to gold. Now, Soma may reject what I'm saying now, but, that's his problem. Yeah, no, I think this is gold. This is a solid, great episode. It's fun, it's funny, it's Homer just being Homer. And that's what we love.
It really is, isn't it? And Homer being the underachiever trying to achieve, that is actually, one of the things we do like about Homer. And we're all like, oh, delightful banter and such.
Well, you.
Oh, that reminds me of a time remember when that happened?
That reminds me of a time that Count Dracula and I went to Monte Carlo to bet on the fuck off. I don't know what's going on.
We just watched Season 2, Episode 5, Dancin Homer. BT, what'd you think?
It's just a fun classic. Everyone knows this one. Everyone has revisited it at some point.
Yeah, just stories of degradation and humiliation. They just make you more popular, and I guess them's the foundation of which The Simpsons was built.
Yeah, I mean, this is season 2, so they're still learning that, but at the same time, I feel like with this one, they know that's what's going to be your bread and butter.
As early as episode 5 in season 2. So, yeah, wow. What a revelation for them to make.
This is a series that was already working against the grain from the word go. So.
An adult-oriented animation show at prime time? What are you thinking?
Not even that, but wait. The hero strives for greatness but does not achieve it? What is this? He merely goes back to his mundane existence?
See, this could never happen in Britain. It had to happen in America.
Yeah, that was the sound of a gob being smacked.
And this is the sound of a god being smacked. I'm not the one who's so far away when I feel the snake.
I mean, I'm not...
Godsmack?
No.
Remember that band?
No, I don't.
They're like wrestling.
Fired.
They're like wrestling metal.
Yeah. Do you want to count the amount of hours of wrestling I've spent watching on one finger? Because it's just one. And it's the middle one. And it's like one.
And it's at half mast.
Yeah.
So it's half a middle finger's worth of wrestling.
Yes.
But no. What I do want you to tell me is a brief synopsis for this episode.
Oh, wow. This is the one in which Homer sits next to Mr. Burns at watching a baseball game, and he...
With the Springfield Isotopes.
Isotopes, who will be one of the few bits of continuity spread throughout the entire series. And... Well, initially getting along with Mr. Burns, I mean, you think for a while, maybe that's where this episode is going. He finds a newfound freedom in being the new mascot for the Springfield Isotopes, being Dancing Homer, dancing the Springfield's name, and...
All to the tune of Baby Elephant Walk.
I mean, is there another song worth your time? No. No, there is not. Put down every album you own and just listen to Baby Elephant Walk.
So yeah, he elevates the level of success that he can start mascotting for the capital city major league team, not just the Springfield Isotopes fucking B league team.
And eventually moves on up.
Yep, but things aren't as easy as they were back in the sticks. And
no, capital city demands a certain level of finesse and professionalism from their mascot in a ridiculous costume.
Yeah, like, we're talking about the home of the goofball.
No.
A dancing obese man? What?
We're no longer talking softball from Maine to San Diego, talking softball, Mattingly and Canseco. No, we're talking the major leagues.
Where their mascots are Muppets in baseball ball-shaped diapers.
And that's the way we like it.
So, look, there's so much of, like... This is one of those Simpsons episodes that I watched and I'm like, this is comfort food, man.
It really, it's...
This is a warm lasagna on a rainy day.
Yeah, that's me waking up on a couch and being like, where am I? And being, shh, there's lasagna. I'm like, I don't care where I am anymore.
Oh, dude, like those days when you wake up hungover and Dave fucking already made you a bacon sandwich.
With a pickle.
Oh.
It would come with a pickle, come on.
Oh, man, we should do the Black Books Index. That'd at least be a very quick series. One from season 1, one from season 2, one from season 3.
It would just all be amazing and shut up.
Yep. Yeah, so, like, other moments in this that, like, man, this is just so tied with classic Simpsons for me. I mean, second season.
Yeah, this is where it's at. They found their footing and they've just gone for it.
Yeah, I guess this is where they sort of started figuring out that Homer was the better focal point rather than Bart, because I think that's what season 1 sort of banked itself on, that Bart being the bad dude was...
You had other such shows where the father was really holding everyone together, and this was the show that had the father being a dim-witted jackass, essentially, and everything collapsing around him was what was fun and what was funny. I mean, maybe in season 1 they adhered to that a little bit, and when we had him becoming the safety inspector in episode 3, I think it was, of season 1.
The very third episode.
The very third. But this was the one they're like, you know, we can take this pony out and play a little bit more. We can run amongst the fields. I've been drinking. Metaphors are going to be tricky. But this was the one where they're like, you know, what was this, episode, what of season 2?
The 5th.
The 5th.
So, like, they're in production, like, for the first part of the season before this one comes out. So, they're still working on, okay, season 1 went down pretty well, and we've got a lot of work to do, but I guess if we just keep doing what we're doing. So, they didn't really have the perspective at this time of how well the show had done. Yeah,
they weren't the Simpsons at this point.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the what seems like a very mild risk, but at the same time was a risk of let's take this familiar character over a familiar setting and see what else you can do on this bigger stage, and more importantly, let him fail to come back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just jumping ahead to the wackiness of this episode, I guess for the time this would have been a particularly wacky one. How many were... Homer's alternate job storylines had there been at this point? Well, I guess none, because they took the effort to explain that Homer had to go to his supervisor and ask for a leave of absence. Sure, what do you want? 4 years? 5 years.
That's fine, whatever, go away.
I love how he jumps to 4 years and 5 years. And yeah, that's not a fucking thread that they even sew these at all.
Yeah,
for the last 20 years.
This might be Homer's first weird job.
Possibly. Look,
I can't think of anything that predates... Nothing in season 1 after he becomes safety inspector in episode 3, I think, was your Band-Aid.
And there's only 13 episodes in that season, so not much opportunity for him to have other jobs. He was Santa in episode 1, but that was in the context of him having this job and not getting his Christmas bonus, and it's like...
It's different.
It's... Oh, man, I think you're right. This might be the first Homer has a different job story.
Starting out so many other episodes.
Oh, absolutely.
But in this one, I know we're going to the question of how wacky was it. So at the time, this was probably relatively out there.
Yep. Again, being the first animated show of its kind, doing these kinds of stories. I mean, these are tropes that Family Guy and Bob's Burgers take for granted these days.
Yep.
And all right, quotable moments I've written on my phone. The This ticket gives me nay the duty to make a complete
nay the duty to make a complete ass of myself.
Yeah. What? Mature quail? Why did I write that down?
I don't know, man. It's your own brain.
Yeah, someone pointed out. Oh yeah, it was the ball player. He pointed out marginally. Hey, check out the mature quail. And we were just like, what the fuck was that line?
If it makes you feel any better, my notes say how quickly they forgot, confused by D, and feelings of respect.
Oh yeah. He would later say that he was confused by feelings of respect
for me. They wouldn't last. What's confused by D? I don't know what that is.
I have no idea. Save room for nachos? Oh yeah, they're eating dinner, and then he says save room for nachos. I don't know why I wrote that down. Leaving would have actually meant something. Oh yeah, Lisa, where they're doing everyone leaving and it's all very solemn, and Bart's with Milhouse has that heartfelt moment. I'm gonna miss you, spit brother. And then Lisa goes, I feel like if I got to know any of you better, my leaving would have meant something.
It's a very early Lisa never fitting anywhere moment.
I know, but for me, I relate to it on leaving some of my jobs and schools and.
That's the fun part. The older you get, the more it's well, how about fuck the lot of you. Bye.
Well, you're people I'm not talking to anymore. Farewell.
Yeah, I left a cake in the shape of my middle finger. Bye. I'm taking this thing to
That's
Mexico.
how you leave in the way that Homer left.
Yeah.
You do a really nice gesture.
But dress it up like bullshit.
Yeah. You give him the nicest chocolate cake in the world, but it looks like the fucking turd emoji.
Yeah. You give them a bouquet of flowers that say, eat all the dicks.
The questionnaire. Do you have any memories of watching this back in the day?
I mean, I may have once, but I've probably drunk since then.
Yeah, and this, like I said, this is a comfort food episode. This is totally
it lays in the
you watch this one with your family.
Yeah, it lays in the subconscious, and you kind of enjoy going back there quietly.
How's your play count with this one?
I don't know, probably 15, because it just pops on every now and then.
Were there any jokes that sort of flew over your head back in the day that you noticed on this viewing?
No, I think I kind of
mature quail. I only noticed just this viewing.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know that was a word that happened. So
yeah,
I still don't get it.
Neither do I. Maybe it was an 80s thing. I don't know. Yeah, that was a weird.
What was the context?
The ball player was saying, because Marge goes "Oh well, I'm gonna get this ball signed for you, Bart," and. That was the worst Marge impression.
That really was.
And she walks over, and then she goes over to the ball player, and ball player's friend goes, "Hey, check out the mature quail." And then
so it's the term for
"Oh,
cougar?
Hey, little lady, what can I do for you?"
That was the term for cougar before we had a term.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess
A mature
or
quail.
MILF.
Well,
it's better than MILF. We'll say that.
Language does get worse with evolution.
It really does. I mean, we break it down, but. God.
See, back in the 80s, they said sophisticated things like mature quail.
Yeah.
Now we just say, oh, that MILF or that cougar.
Cougar.
Cougar, mate.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself watching this episode again?
I mean, it's a classic. If it comes on, yeah, definitely. I will say I probably won't seek it out because it's not a riot kind of episode.
No, it's more feely and more story-based, isn't it? Let's talk about... we sort of already covered this, but the wackiness in this episode, I guess, lied in the context of the time that Homer didn't have the wacky job episodes.
No, and this was the first time they've done that, and it felt realistically grounded. He got
Absolutely.
it in a legitimate way, and he kept it in a legitimate way. He was good at being Dancing Homer. That's capitalism for you kids, in theory.
And I guess that's where the heart of this episode lied as well, didn't
Capitalism.
it? The heart lies in capitalism.
Do well and you will excel, but also not.
But yeah, the heart of this episode, certainly did lie in the mixed feelings of respect that Bart had for Homer,
Yeah.
and just you really did feel for Homer in this episode. I think you covered it before, yeah.
This is a new job for him, and it's like he branches out into Dancing Homer. Within the context of the time that you saw this was new for him. We never saw him branch out before.
And I guess the Simpsons writers, this was new for them as well, so they were really making sure that the story got you on Homer's side for trying this very, very different thing from his old job, which, even though they were happy to let him go, they still really made the effort to get you on his side.
Yeah. It's a
beautiful man.
It's one of those rare things that only the Simpsons can do.
Get you right at the heartstrings. So, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Fucking yeah.
Yep, no questions about that. Any other quotable moments that you can think of?
I know, other than Mr. Burns. Well, I suppose you'd be interested in having a beer there, Simpson.
Yeah.
I was wondering perhaps you'd join me. I'd take occasional libations.
Yep. Oh, classic Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns. That's his
Master Burns.
That's his DJ name, y'all.
Smithers.
Well.
Excellent.
Let's not.
Cut all this. Classic Mr. Burns language in this, and any other quotable moments?
It's not a fun quote. It's one of those ones that I will instantly recognize if anyone quotes it to me. But in terms of what I want to say to other people, and when the apocalypse happens, and we all just talk in Simpsons quotes, which is maybe 7 years away.
At least until my dementia.
Yeah, this is not one I will be teaching kids in the hovel, because it doesn't have those moments of this. You have to know this line. It's still a good episode, and it's still a lot of fun. I find myself at a loss of, is it the difference between trading kilo loads of plastic or being shot in the belly? And I don't feel like this is one of those episodes that'll help me negotiate that post-apocalyptic stance.
Well, I guess that segues nicely into...
It really doesn't. I'm very sorry.
Where do we rank this thing?
I want to say gold. It is very much Simpsons. It's a lot of what builds it to be what it is. It is not quite cubic, and the only thing keeps you from being silver is the fact that it is so very iconic to The Simpsons itself. Dancing Homer is to The Simpsons what metaphors are to the rest of that metaphor.
Well, look, let me pick it up from there, and gold is where I very comfortably sit with this one as well, because if it had better jokes, it would have been a cubic.
Yeah.
But because the story is so solid from start to finish, you are on Homer's side, and you are laughing at him and appreciating him at the same time, that it earns the gold ranking, and it is so definitively Simpsons. Like you said, this is such inherent to the Simpsons, like what fed the rest of the appeal of the show.
The overall motif.
Yeah, there is so much foundation for what comes ahead in this episode. So greatly executed, its only downfall is that it's light on the jokes.
Yeah, it's just not quite as funny, it's not quite as driven, and it's one of those... We've said that Cubic Zirconia is the one that you have to have watched it.
Yeah.
And this is one it's good, but I just feel like you don't have to have seen it.
Not at all. But in the context of many other later episodes, watch this one beforehand.
Oh, obviously. I mean...
Because, this is one that you look at and you're like, oh, wow, that's sort of like what reminded me in this very much better episode or something. I don't know.
That's what makes it gold as opposed to cubic. We don't feel like it has to be a part of the, the Simpsons Index Cubic Zirconia episodes we launch into space in the hopes that aliens find it and decide we're cool.
Yeah, it's still very much got the early parts of The Simpsons, which are more story-based, more character-driven.
Finding ground,
is ultimately like a better technically thing, but what we love about The Simpsons is also the jokes, and that's what this is lacking. I comfortably give it a gold, and I think that calls it for this mini episode. Well, yeah, that was fun anyway, and in this way I will be able to balance the episodes a bit better.
You don't tell that to your audience. That's a bad idea.
No,
This is for you. We decided to make some mini episodes just for you, the listener. If you're new to the Simpsons Index, this is what we're all about. So take a moment, listen to this one, and we'll hear her out there in Radio Land, gently massaging her earlobes, while we quietly add pennies every day to a bank account. I'm gonna continue making promises I can't reinforce until someone stops me. With the Simpsons Index, you'll become a better, more gentle lover. Or not gentle at all, if that's what your lover likes. You know what? It's entirely up to your lover. Talk to your lover. Say, hey, what do you dig? Is it the gentle? Is it not the gentle? You know what? I'll try that for you. Just put your tongue in my mouth. It'll be alright. Continue from there. You know what? Read more Shirley Jackson novels. They're fantastic. Also, haven't checked out the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman. That's also wonderful. And while on the subject, BoJack Horseman. Just
Season 3 available now on Netflix, which we are sponsored by, hopefully.
No, we're like super not.
We are super not sponsored by anybody, especially not BoJack Horseman Season 3, which you should totally fucking check out after Season 1 and then Season 2.
I'm going to take a nap.
And we're both going to take a nap. That was an excellent outro to the Simpsons Index. I bet I won't have to edit that in the slightest.
You really will.
Okay, so that was a special mini episode. If you like the mini episodes, I guess you can contact me on Twitter.
This is Elliot J. O'Neill, and I'm never tapping out.
Now say it more like me.
This is Elliot J. O'Neill. I'm never tapping out.
Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes. Miss you, spit brother. You spit brother. You spit brother. You spit brother.
You spit brother.
You spit brother.
You spit brother.
You spit brother.